Kalari is thought to originate up to 5,000 years ago. No one is really sure of its origin, but certainly it seems to influence and contain many of the techniques found in other Asian martial arts. It also has a very developed healing side involving massage, manipulation, acupressure. Acupressure done much like acupuncture, but using the thumb and working on what we call marma points. So these marma points are where you find a group of neuromuscular junctions and where you can affect the physiological body as well as the subtle body. So in the fighting art we learn to attack these points and to defend them, and in the healing art we learn to manipulate them essentially and the lines that join them together. When we start training in Kalari, the most important thing is to develop first of all is focus. The emphasis is put on this, and this is in order to quieten the mind. Essentially, when you're fighting, there's no space for there to be a thinking process. Kalari is about training the body to be reflexive, to be responsive, so that any impulse received, you respond to that. So the training system works around balancing the temperament of the practitioner, using male and female forms to balance the guna or temperament. There are also prayer forms which are designed to develop discipline and a sense of respect in the student. So after practicing traditionally the body forms for 3 years, you would go on to weapons, wooden weapons, metal weapons. So for me, what was always interesting about Kalari when I started doing it was it seemed to be a system of body conditioning that was more superior to any dance form or theatre training that I had done up until then. I was previously an actor, so doing a lot of that kind of thing. And what I saw in Kalari was a grace and a control of movement that I didn't see in the dancers that I'd worked with. There's an intrinsic knowledge in the south of India that's left over and hasn't been tampered with. So whereas in the north the invaders came in and they lost a lot of their original culture, the Dravidians came in, the Aryans came in, brought with them different ways of life. In the south it was preserved much more. They didn't have that kind of infiltration. And so you find in Kerala a very strong reliance on Ayurveda. They also acknowledge Western medicine, but they use Ayurveda every day. Their food is based around this. And Kalari is basically a sister science to Ayurveda. It's like the physio role in Western medicine. So the two things grew up simultaneously and were both very much a part of village life for many people. So I've been now here on Koh Phangan since March. My plan is to establish here a centre for learning, also for teaching, for the healing system as well as the martial art, and to begin to do research, to start to try to gather some data on how effective the treatment is for various physiological problems. The primary role here I have is working with yoga practitioners who have a series of common injuries, usually subluxation in the hip, over too much tension in the neck causing headache, iliotibial band tightness. There's a few others, but these are common yoga injuries. For me, what's most interesting in Kalari is the change that I feel inside. Physiologically, of course, there's many changing processes that happen, but inside there's a development of confidence, of grounding, of focus that passes on into everything else that I do. If I train in the morning for 2 hours, I'm much more in the moment. I'm much more able to go and then study for a few hours, being concentrated on that, or whatever it is that I go on to do. The repetition, someone who practices Kalari is called the repeating one. So it's all about repetition, 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 and through that repetition some kind of silence can come, whereas trying to sit in meditation can be quite difficult with your mind. I find if you are doing a physical form and your focus is on that, actually the mind just seems to quiet by itself.